Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We are here in game, Major League Gaming. Team solo mid on the blue side, Good Game University on red. Let me hear you guys in the audience. Do you want TSM to win this game?
All right, we have GGU on your red side. If you would like to see GGU take game one on TSM, the game of the day, let me hear you for GGU. All right, so our first LCS match underway. We're going to see what these teams have for their setups. Just kind of back and forth right now. That's line of scrimmage setup. Nobody wants too much aggression.
No, not at all right now. You're kind of just seeing everyone panning out. Interestingly, though, we actually see Vayne running up the top half of the map for Good Game University. So right off the bat, GGU looking for a bit of a lane swap. We'll see what happens from that one. Meanwhile, standard setup so far from Team Solo Mid. Jinte just left his sort of mid lane sort of ward allotment down. He's watching the upper river himself. And we're just going to watch as TSM starts up the double golems. They start Zed up in the jungle on the Wolves, so he will start blue as well. Or I shouldn't say as well because Zinja's starting red, but we're going to have Zed start blue, see what pans out.
It looks like Dyrus and Reginald are coming down here to free up some experience for themselves, or give themselves some experience to start. But yeah, we see, like you said, the jungle starting off. There's Reggie and Dyrus, the odd one, on his wraiths by himself here. So we'll see if this kind of turns out different for them, if he gets help somewhere else.
Well, we'll see what ends up happening. Of course, we see Sinjao. He should be getting the support from Thresh. Actually, they're running up Kog'Maw as well. So Chaox will actually miss a little bit of experience in gold by supporting this Lizard buff, but supporting your jungler that much more, giving him the extra time there, letting his health bar be higher when he finishes this Lizard camp is much, much more important. There's his level 2, and he's going to finish this camp pretty easily.
He still has that smite, so he'll be able to get around to the other side quite quickly as we see where Zed's going. His blue, Nintendude is making his way to the other side, so they're just about timed exactly, and they're going to be on that top side, so we may see that 2v1 coming into play for the gank.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. Of course, both junglers are heading for the top half of the map. You've actually got a ward right above the blue buff, so it's going to be a 2-on-1 in GGU's favor. Bloodwater going to put a ward down in the brush. Ooh, odd one killed the ward. Nice reset there using his Q.
Wow.
It forced him to back off.
So they aren't going to get the vision they want there, but it looks like Nintendude still is thinking about pressure. He's kind of keeping himself out of the lane here. He may try to go in for something, and it looks like Freak, he is just toying with going in on the odd one here. His mana bar is quite low.
He know it got pulled. Odd one's going to be dropped a little bit low. Here's Nintendo. He's going to find him. Will he get enough damage?
A little bit there. Still Bloodwater coming down from the top side. They have that ward on the top to make sure, you know, Vayne keeps vision on Rumble. They have vision of anybody else coming in, and they get to steal away for Bloodwater. He's going to be able to poke that lane out so much more.
Wow, that was very, very impressive. They actually did something crazy right there. They had Nintendude actually smite early, and I think they just threw off Odd One's time because Lulu actually last hit that. So Bloodwater's got a blue buff and is going to be putting a ton of pressure on this top lane.
So it looks like Dyrus going to see what he can do. We'll meet back with him in just a few minutes in that top lane. Bottom also getting the same treatment, though, especially Chaox just knocking down on Zion Spartan auto attack after auto attack. And you know how annoying it is to play against the Thresh.
It's pretty harsh overall. I actually want to point out sort of how these turrets are faring because the top turret is down about at half health now. Mashme and Bloodwater putting a ton of pressure there. Meanwhile, Zion Spartan's turret at the bottom has a lot more health. There's a bit of a push lead here for the Vayne Lulu lane. Again, blue buff Lulu is going to be an absolute terror here.
So we do see this could be that 2v1 push strategy coming out if the junglers can get back for a stronger gank the next time. Usually we didn't see him meet in the jungle as we did this time in previous week of LCS in the 2v1 strategy, but that slowed things down a little. We did see that Marn was able to thwart this strategy entirely by swapping the lanes back. We'll have to see how these two do it to stop the damage now.
Well, they've pulled Nintendo towards the bottom half of the map right there. They're looking for something, but he's been knocked back. They're still going for it, though. He's put the slow on from Zed.
Get some good damage. They do get that flash Freak, so a lot of pressure everywhere. Not huge impact plays, but it's just setting it up for the next few minutes.
And speaking of setups, they've got Oddman right on the side. Reginald's going to lock the gold card. They don't find too much.
Doesn't decide to go in. They weren't just happy with the flash. They want the kill here. He throws down the shield. He's not going to be able to stop it out. They get the flash. Can they get the pop-up? First blood coming in for Reginald.
Absolutely amazing gank right there. You can hear the crowd behind us. Gotta say, I've missed that whole crowd interaction. Thank you guys, by the way, for coming out here into Dallas. Gotta love that crowd. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for coming out. Meanwhile, this mid lane, look at the pressure there. Oddwood and Reginald. Now, normally you see people recall back using their first blood gold to buy some items and put pressure that on their lane because they've dealt, you know, they've done damage, they've got items, but they actually go for the turret pressure there. It's down below half. That's going to make GGU think a little bit because that turret could go down very quickly.
Looks like Dyrus pushed down to a second turret. Zion Spartan's actually able to kind of push his lane out here. They're giving him a little bit too much room to mess with. And now that that top lane has been thwarted out from a tower, we can see Reginald getting a little aggression there. Looks like Jinte moving down to keep Bloodwater safe. These guys need to start moving and roaming for at least a few kills to stop the pressure. It's just too much right now from TSM.
And of course, you're even seeing like the lanes that are sort of underhanded do really well. Look at the 29-9 in minion kills. Dyrus in a 1 versus 2 lane is almost outlast hitting the solo mid players. Like, that's an incredibly great performance there from Dyrus. He's going to be a huge factor this game.
I'm going to actually recall my last statement. TSM's putting pressure on, but I thought they had a lot more damage on this bottom turret, and it was way prepped to be taken down. So mid and bottom, a lot stronger than I thought. GGU is actually holding off that stave of first blood aggression, and it looks like Dyrus is forced to farm out, not even warding for himself. Feels pretty comfortable.
That is interesting, actually, because he's completely able to be surrounded. If they wanted to, they could focus out Dyrus this game. Oh, the ultimate coming in from Twisted Fate is going to be right on top of Jinte.
Jinte could go down again. That flash was expended last time. The last card, Reginald now with 2.
The gank pressure from TSM, that is so strong. Sinjao TF is a great lockdown combo, and there we go. That pressure on the turret actually running away from Nintendo here. They don't want to put out apparently that much pressure because they're afraid of the Zed, so they're going to bang that one off. We're seeing this 2v2 now at the bottom lane, and suddenly this is looking a lot better for Team Solo Mid. They're up 1,000 gold so far, despite being down a turret in this 2v2 bottom lane. We'll see how it pans out. They're up 10 minion kills actually in the bottom lane.
Yeah, this is really where you can see a team start to take the advantage back, right? You switch your lanes up, it's going to be CSing against the other support in the AD carry, and this could be very big for them. If Xpecial doesn't play this right, really this bottom lane is a battle of the supports. Who can, position better? It's all about the ADs to just right-click.
We'll see what ends up happening here, of course. Thresh versus Lulu are two very aggressive pain-in-the-side supports who like to put in a bit of damage. Neither can sustain health bars either. There we go, a little bit of pressure there onto Bloodwater, putting him pretty low.
Ooh. Bloodwater gets leashed in there, and Chaox good at the last few attacks. His shield, the last one travels from the W. Chaox picks one up 3-0 at 7.5 minutes.
Absolutely amazing laning from these TSM guys. Jinte off to the side, gonna grab blue buff for himself. And I just want to look at what these guys are trying to do here. I mean, Team Solo Mid have done a really good job of controlling the map overall. They honestly have won all of their lane matchups. Chaox is winning in minion kills against Don't Mash Me. You see Reginald, just with the help from Odd1, is just completely crushing the mid lane. And Good Game University, they need to find something really for themselves. Nintendo's only really ganked once and forced to flash the bottom lane. Then he didn't revisit that lane and push down Thresh. So they've got to find an opening here, and I don't know if this lane gank's going to work.
He could hit level 6 as he goes into this, but I don't think the minions are going to die. They won't get it. They get damage, though. Zion Spartan coming from the backside, but he gets CC'd up. Can they get the flop on? The damage goes down from the poison. They find a kill there, but Chaox is going to try to do what he can, and the barrier goes off as he backs off.
He flashed as soon as Nintendo used his ultimate. He knew that the ult's going to go through and it will hit. It will chase you through a flash, but as soon as it lands, he timed it, flashed away to dodge all the damage that would come after the ultimate, and that allowed him to not take too much damage from the mark. He put on barrier to take a little bit less damage, and he survived the encounter.
Trying to just poke away here. That living artillery comes in with quite a bit of mana cost, but Reginald coming in to try and help here, gets the gold card down, and a great deterrent on the turret. They knew there wasn't going to be the burst kill there, and it was going to be a real scrap kill if they even got it.
That was actually a pretty impressive showing of sort of constitution, like, chutzpah is the word I can think of. I don't know. That was random. But basically, yeah, like, Chaox in a willingly 2v3'd into that lane and said, I will support you, Reginald, and he pushed him back. That was actually pretty impressive to win a 2v3 straight up.
And we see the Odd1 and Dyrus milling about the jungle. They've taken that top turret out finally, so Global Gold kind of evens out here, except for that first blood and 2 kills. This middle turret looking prepped to be taken down as well. Jinte coming up now has his flash again, so he can be a bit more aggressive here with his Qs and get himself in. But it looks like he's just going to go ahead and give up the turret.
That is absolutely the right move there from Team Solo Mid. They worked on it from day one. The very first gank, they sat there and pushed that minion wave and put the turret down to half health. Second gank, they did the same thing until Zed showed up. Finally, they get control of the map, force Jinte out. They go for the turret.
I really think GGU would have had the right idea if the kills weren't going on to Jinte so fast in mid. You could have just seen that Vayne and Lulu pressure Dyrus constantly top, but they've left him. TSM has taken a complete control over this game quickly when the lanes swap back after they lost a turret, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, they've completely controlled the map. It's amazing that, you're right, the first turret kill did not shake them in any way whatsoever. They focused their attention elsewhere. They left Darius alone and said, look, go ahead and lose your turret, not a big deal. We'll get advantages elsewhere. Chaox had a safe and free lane. They didn't even swap him anywhere. He's been farming the whole game. They put the pressure onto Jintae's Diana. They did a great job there. And you're just seeing really, really nice stuff from TSM. They're controlling the map.
83 to 67. So even that the swap lane didn't help them in the early time. And like you said, Chaox left to just farm. They want the third outer tier turret here, and it looks like they may try to get a kill with it. Oh, that just misses, but they get a beautiful equalizer down against the wall. Reginald to come in and solidify any kills that were walking away. It looks like Nintendo may be able to scrap it out, and they're going to continue to push. TSM has full map control.
Absolutely amazing gank right there, pulling basically everyone into that fight. And I want to hand it off to Reginald, actually, who ulted in and knew that Bloodbatter was going to die anyway, so he stunned Nintendo instead. He stunned somebody else, said, maybe we can follow up on this guy because I know you have that kill for free.
And a team with so many teleports, they are not able to react to the speed of Team Solo Mid's just destiny right now, and their movement around the map. They've been walking through these wards. They didn't prep that bottom turret. Team Solo Mid is not allowing GGU to find out what they're doing right now. They're just being so sporadic. They've taken down all three outer turrets. They can mess with Dragon whenever they want now and kind of, you know, position for that fight. And even the items coming out. Wow, I forgot the word. A BF sword and the pickaxe coming in to the Doran's blades, right? Where's the damage going to come from there? Silver bolts are great, but not if you can't back it up with damage.
And just look at the gold between the two AD carries, actually, because you've got Vampiric Scepter, double Doran's blade, and Berserker's Greaves, but he doesn't have any gold to back that up. He's got 560 gold. That's basically nothing on Vayne right now. He's a full 1,000, well, shoot, 1,400 behind his lane opponent there, which is hugely massive. And I also want to point out how good TSM's ward coverage is. They have 2 in the upper jungle of GGU, so when they go for something, they didn't stop him at the red buff this time, but they've got map control, which is hugely important.
And you know what? Got to give some credit to TSM as well. From the beginning, when you come up against a team that doesn't practice with somebody, that they do know where the comfort zone can be knocked off quite quick, they focus Jintae right off the bat. And Jintae is a very good player, but with the cohesion of a team, to knock somebody like that out early, it just makes fighting as a team a lot harder in the late game, especially since they haven't had the practice.
Yeah, it was an absolutely great set of ganks right there, giving TSM the lead, basically, because they got Twisted Fate. And the thing is, you look at this mid lane matchup and you see 96 to 101. Jintae, despite dying twice, has done a really good job heads up in lane.
For sure.
But the new gold card into Xin Zhao is pretty much a guaranteed gank against a melee champion. It's a really good read in the lane and saying, yep, we can get this kill and we'll go for it.
And they even kind of swapped it around with how Odd1 would go through his jungle. They took his wolves. He wasn't able to get that. He was thwarted at blue, so that took him longer. Still was able to find the first gank in mid. So that just goes to show Odd1 really just been keeping himself in this game after all that pressure. GGU losing another turret here. Have to find some ground somewhere. It's going to have to just come to, 20, 25 minutes when they've got the first core item / mid items and they can start to 5v5. But right now, TSM in a very demanding lead.
Exactly. 5v5s are really a big deal here because you're seeing the lanes really go TSM's way, and they're doing a beautiful job of that. Dragons, turrets, the whole 9 yards. Obviously, TSM's doing great. But Good Game University, we said it a little bit in Champion Select. They've got basically 4 to 5 guys who can participate in diving Chaox's Kog'Maw, and you'll have a very rough time getting away from fights. You really, really will. They've got Zion, Spartan, Split pushing to buy time for their team, and so they can get to that 25-minute mark, honestly, pretty easily. Again, in team fights, they could probably kill Chaox, and they've got their own giant carry. They've got their own Vayne, who, if she catches up in items finally, will be a really high-impact champion. If TSM ever gets caught out in a 1 vs 5, GGU has initiation. They have ways to catch. And so TSM obviously in the lead, but GGU has comeback hooks.
It's great late-game damage, like you were saying. We've seen what I can't even think of anybody's name right now. We've seen what Skara does on Dignitas, on Diana. That's what I wanted. But yeah, Diana has crushed down a 4,000 HP Jarvan late game. We saw that St. Vicious Baron fight between Curse and Dignitas. So Diana can get there, like you said. Vayne, the Queen hyper carry. See if they can get it through. He's going to be going against Chaox, though, so that becomes the positioning war for AD carries.
It's going to be interesting. We'll see what ends up happening. Positioning, really, you said it. It's going to be the major factor of these team fights. Gold is nice, but remember that some of that gold does come from the Twisted Fate passive. Gold really means 2 things. It means who's winning the game by looking at numbers and who's been doing the best and accruing such a gold lead. Now, TF kind of has half of that. He has, obviously, they have more golds, they're more powerful, but it will lie to you a little bit into how much better TSM is doing. I do want to say that GGU, I just said it again, but they have the ability to come back. So, let's see what these guys are up to. Diana has finished the Nashor's Tooth. Still hoping for a big item to be finished on Vayne, though.
Yep, we have the Lich Bane coming out for Reginald on Twisted Fate as we go around. Locket of the Iron Solari all ready for Odd One. Just means they are ready to go into fight. If they can get that fight phase before, like I was saying, the 23 minutes, it's going to be really hard for GGU. But GGU is playing this smart right now. They're not letting themselves get engaged on. They're clearing out the lanes, and they're playing it very careful. They haven't walked in the same spots that they were losing fights earlier.
And interestingly enough, TSM is also playing it carefully. They've gotten 4 turret kills. They know Dragon's coming up fairly soon, but they're not forcing things. They're not running in behind turrets and getting caught out. They're getting the ward coverage, and then when they go for deep wards, they accompany the support with theirs to make sure he doesn't get caught out while trying to put these aggressive wards down. And so I want you to kind of pay attention to the minimap if you can, and when TSM goes for the next aggressive push, how they started out and how they get that fight there, because that's going to be really important. Not getting caught out is huge for TSM.
And we can even see kind of in Zion Spartan's build, which I think is made, if not the first time he's really pulling out Singed in the LCS for us, but he's going for everything that's just going to stack and allow him to keep pushing that lane. More mana, Catalyst, once he levels off the push, he keeps pushing the lane, so they're not even really ready to fight right now.
Nope.
They don't want to see that engagement, and the safety from both teams is definitely showing here. I think it's been a lull for about 4 minutes in as we look at the kill score. 4-1 happened quite fast as Reginald was able to come out quick there. But at 26,000 gold to 20,000 gold, that lead could definitely be what they need. They're going up actually onto Zion Spartan. They get the lockdown freak, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it in range now. Equalizer just hits. He does get out of that one, throws down the ooze, and he may be able to just walk this around. Jinte actually came up to the fight as well after teleporting here. The gold card goes out, but they're going to be able to throw it around, and Jinte puts himself in a bad spot.
That was a bit of a failed counter gank, unfortunately. Zion Spartan gets out. That was nice. Jinte burned teleport just to die. A bit of a mistake by him. The rest of TSM have now grouped towards the top lane, and that was what they were looking for. They had ward coverage over Dragon. They took that one for free. Then they found a kill on Zion. They found pressure on a Zion Spartan. Destiny came out. They found an overextended lane. They ganked from there. And now they get to push down. They got a 5-on-4. This is their turret.
And this happened during the kill. They were probably getting this kill, and they're saying, we're going to get the kill. There's going to be a kill coming in, and the entire team was already moving to the top lane.
Yep.
There's no reaction for this turret not going down.
Exactly, and the ironic thing, of course, is that Reginald actually recalled back after that, being low on health, but they knew mash moves in the bottom lane. They still had a 4-on-3 up top. They said, yep, we have the numbers advantage. GGU did not even try to defend that, and not risk getting Thresh hooked or Sinjai ulted into the team, so they gave that one up, and that makes turret number 5 here for TSM. 8,000 gold up. Those of you just joining us, we're here in the first LCS match of the weekend here at MLG Dallas. We got a whole lot more coming over the next 3 days.
And be sure if you miss anything to head over to NALCesports.com. You can check out all the matches, also the schedules of what's going on. And if you are from EU, be sure to choose your region at the top. Right now, 18 minutes into this matchup here, your Major League Gaming Winter Championships, we have 5-1. The kills kind of spread out actually for TSM, which really bolsters the lanes that were already winning. 2 in mid, 2 for the AD carry, which are already, your carries. They're called that for a reason. So that's scary coming in. The BF sword coming out.
Carry.
Scary carries, exactly. Mash me with the BF sword finally, and a little bit of sustain from the scepter, but there's no burst in damage for him yet. That's going to be big. The Infinity Edge already finished on Kog'Maw, and he's already on the outside of the fight to just pour in the damage. And
he's already even picked up a red elixir as well. Chaox knows he is under pressure from Zed, and so he's picking up just a little bit of health. The double Doran's Blade, not a Vampiric Scepter, the red elixir, a lot of bonus health. Grabs a Negatron Cloak right off the bat to try to survive Zion Spartan and Jinte. He knows that, I got enough damage. I'm going to make sure I don't die. We'll go from there.
Yeah, it's really too early in the game. You can just look at the health bars on the side of GGU. An Infinity Edge would pretty much crush each one of those. Obviously a little less for Zion Spartan, but that reflects in the inventories. Where's the armor yet? Where is anything? Singed is still trying to push to push the lane. He's not even ready to take damage.
Not really, no. I mean, he's got enough money to start the upgrade to Rod of Ages. He's got 900 in the bank himself, but you're basically seeing everyone on GGU just spending money as soon as they get it, trying to put their items together. You've got Zed starting for Blade of the Ruin King now. He's got the Cutlass, but he's still got about 1,800 gold to go until he can complete that item. That's a pretty big deal right there. Meanwhile, you're seeing just completed items everywhere else. It's really the major story is when you look at that bottom scoreboard, look at the very innermost column. Is that a big item for any of those players? Merc Treads, I mean, Nashor's Tooth Bloodthirster are okay, but you see Infinity Edge, you see Lich Bane, you see a Ruby Sightstone, I guess on both sides, but you got the Locket of Iron Solari. TSM very much ahead in items.
have to see what they can do as they thwart possibly another turret here in mid, or is TSM going to be able to grab this? We do have Zion Spartan bottom lane. His ghost is far from, actually just came back up rather. The teleport is up as well, so they could initiate something off a false start here if TSM messes up, but we haven't seen that yet. 20 minutes of pretty darn good play from Team Solo Mid, always capitalizing on any advantage. It's not been a team fight and people have to back. It's been a team fight and a turret for them. A team fight and a turret. They're always advancing, and that is such a hard thing to stop when you can't get any room to breathe.
And they're in position to start Baron right now. You can see they've shoved out the mid lane. They've got just a network of wards covering the exit from GGU's base towards the Baron pit. They have a pink ward on Baron, and they have Reggie shoving out the bottom lane while still in range of his team with his ultimate to keep the split push from Zion Spartan, picking up any free turrets. It's a really good opening. They've actually got the surround. Zion Spartan doesn't know what's happening. Pops his ult, has to run.
He does have the ulti pop. Dying from the front pinch in TSM because they did put themselves in an odd spot there, but GGU is really super careful, turtling this one out. Even if TSM had Baron right now, this is what you would see. So GGU on that careful mode. 21 minutes in here, guarding one of their last outer second-tier turrets. And TSM doesn't want that to happen.
Oh, not at all. So we're going to see Reginald poke from the side. You can see him actually duck into the fog of war before he pops that Q. The wild card's going out. And you can see Zion Spartan is shoving the mid lane. He is not there to defend his team. TSM knows they can dive in aggressive, take another turret for themselves, 5 versus 4. And the pressure is just still theirs.
It's a crowd control formation of one on top of the other. It's not even like you could pick somebody out of TSM's composition if you wanted to. You're just going to get super locked down. They're expelling, throw it on the ult. They can just choose to get out of the fight altogether. They have so many options with this composition. I really like it.
It's absolutely great. You're seeing GGU just desperately try to pick up farm. Vayne over the top-hand side, trying to get a little bit of farm, but here comes TSM into the base.
You can just see what their movement is doing. Zion Spartan wants to put himself in the front. Jinte goes in and throws the shield on. There's the Lulu ultimate, but Jinte is still getting crushed down. The health bars for GGU are almost non-existent now as Dyrus goes into the fight, keeping himself alive with a sliver here. It's all up to Mashme. A beautiful living artillery from Chaox takes down Bloodwater, and they look to grab the first inhibitor.
Go. That is a 4-0 right there. A lot of them at low health. You can see that gold advantage, what it meant for them there. The level advantage as well. They were just able to survive those fights just barely, despite being engaged on their turret. But Mashme was away, and it really kind of made them suffer there. TSM happy just to make their way out, recall in time, not give up any map objectives. Grab the dragon on the way out, but they're in complete safety here.
We have about a 12,000 gold lead coming in now, and 7 turrets to 1. There's about 11 turrets on the map, and with 7 down, that makes it quite hard to defend pretty much anything. So it's all around the horn right now in the front of the base for GGU. They have to be able to spread themselves thin, and right now that makes it even harder that they don't have the items. They know they're going to have to be stopping split pushes, and it's going to be big trouble here. 24 minutes in, 9-1. We just said that gold lead was about 12,000 in the lead, and that's really coming. Chaox now with 3 kills, 2 assists, 2 kills for Reginald in middle with the first and second blood of the game. They've really been pushing the advantages.
And meanwhile in the top lane, Dyrus actually puts out a quick laugh as he chases out Zion Spartan, forces him to pop his ultimate. And so you're seeing any sort of heads-up one-on-one. They're forcing... I mean, Sage is supposed to be the king of split pushing, king of one-on-one, who just does not care if someone's chasing him, and that is just not the situation here. Good Game University. Yeah, they can grab the lizard buff. That's kind of nice for them, but you're seeing anytime someone from TSM shows up, they say, you're right, it's your jungle. We'll back off.
And Jinte grabbing it. You can just see how much consideration they're putting into bits of damage here, right? Jinte's going to be in the fight. He'll be swinging at people more. Vayne could get crushed down, so let's get the few, maybe 100 damage we'll get out of the red buff. They're really trying for everything here.
They're doing what they can. Of course, Jinte, unfortunately, with a pretty rough game, 0-4-0, was not part of his team's 1 kill. And of course, was focused down in the mid lane. You're seeing the poke come out from Chaox. Already chugged that red elixir himself, so he is durable. Shirelli is up there on the team. It's going to help them quite a bit when they want to start a fight, and they are just taking this turret ever so slowly.
Having flashes down isn't even making Team Solo Mid less aggressive. They're still in the face using Reginald and also Xpecial, tanking turret shots there every so often as they just go in for some red cards, right? Red card can just be fountained, but that doesn't matter to them. They just want to keep the aggression on, and they want to start playing with the heads of GGU here.
And here they go. The pressure onto this turret. They sent Singe top, which means that turret is theirs.
There's the Locket of the Iron Solari going down. Everybody's going to be nice and protected for the bit of damage that they tried to get there off an Intex. Another inhibitor, and they're actually just able to focus on the bottom super minions coming in here. This gets taken out, Freak, and it looks like they're going to head towards the top side.
There we go. GGU just refusing to fight on bad terms right now. They know they're a team fight away from losing this game. They need to find just the correct initiation. The problem is, I don't think TSM's going to give them that opportunity. They're just happily pushing forward and not taking any risks. The turret is theirs pretty much for free again.
There's a dash in. Actually, Xin trying to get a little aggressive. Jinte, however, put himself in the middle of the fight, and he is going to get obliterated down. Nintendo X forced out of the fight as well. They were able to find Dyrus, but there's still so much damage from these Fed carries, as we said before. Chaox picking up another kill in that fight, and it looks like they grabbed the third inhibitor and possibly a final push.
This could very well be that final push, a 3-1 in that fight right there. Everyone else tanking it up quite nicely. No inhibitors alive. Minions flooding into the base. This is going to be their nexus.
The first turret going down here. It's going to be Mashme and Bloodwater just kind of hanging out. They know it's going to happen. They can't do anything to get in. The timers are only at 10 seconds here. They made this one quick. TSM coming in, looking for blood, and they found it. Able to take down GGU in game 1 here of the MLG Winter Championship.
Awesome play by TSM. Complete control, really, from second number 1. Lane swap, lost the turret in the 2v1. The blue buff, Lulu, the blue steal. Nice moves by GGU. They certainly made a good impression early on, but TSM really, they played like TSM. They focused the right lanes. They got the right battles. They crushed Jinte twice. I think the second one is like at level 6, but certainly very, very early on.
Just before his flash was back, like they had his number.
They absolutely had his number, ringing it up over and over and over. It's 5-5-5, ganked and dead. Poor guy did not have a great time of that game, but you know, TSM, they put on a really, really good show. Everyone, I think, put on a great performance. Dyrus in a 1v2 still last hit well.
Yeah.
Their 2-on-1 lane farm nicely, and again, those ganks and Jinte, they did really, really well.